In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at how you can create a dripping effect in Adobe After Effects. And this can be done with text, with an image, with a raster or a vector image. It's a built-in effect, so you don't need any paid plugins whatsoever. So I have my text here, which I want to use to create a dripping effect. And if you have your text or whatever you want to use, if you select that and you go to Effects and Presets, which if it isn't visible, you can go to Window and then choose Effects and Presets. And there you will look for Smear. As you can see, we have two hits. We have CC Smear and we have Smear. We're going to take the CC Smear and drop it on top of our text. And you can already see things happening. Now, in the Effect Controls window, we're going to select the anchor point for the From option and then click where we want to have our dripping effect start from. So let's say I will choose this point of my R, and then we're going to do the same with the To option. So select that anchor point, and then in a sort of a straight line beneath your From, we're going to put it just below where our composition ends. So this is the first thing we're doing. If you have your layer selected and you press U, you will see your keyframes, which we don't have yet. So in the beginning of our layer, of our composition timeline, we will set the reach keyframe to 0. And then if you now press U with the layer selected, you can see you have a keyframe. And then I'm going to go forward to about 1, maybe 2 seconds. And then on 2 seconds, I'm going to make my reach higher. And as you drag, I can see here that I didn't put my 2 in the right location. So we're going to fix that. I'm going to drag my 2 slightly below, somewhere there. Okay, and then at the 2 second mark, now it goes okay. I'm going to increase my reach. Now, you can take your reach to where your drop disappears just out of the picture, but as you can see here, we now still have a dropping distortion on the point where you started. And you can fix this by increasing the reach. So you can see now we're going to about 600, I think. Now we have a slightly distorted point below our From point, but it's, apart from that, it's disappeared and you don't see anything distorted there. So if we now go back to the beginning and we check what we've made, you can see that the drop falls from our R. Maybe it can be a bit quicker. You can just drag your keyframe. If you want to have it quicker or slower, you drag it the other way around. So like this. Now, if we have what we want, we will select both keyframes and then either press F9 to easy ease or right click a keyframe and then go to keyframe assistant and choose easy ease. And with those keyframes still selected after you have done the easy ease, we're going into the graph editor. And here, right click to make sure you are editing the speed graph. And then we will select our first keyframe and drag it towards our second keyframe to get a nice pop in the animation. And if we now check again, I like this. So if you want multiple drops or dripping effects happening, you can select your effect you applied onto your text or your image or your vector image, and with that selected, press Ctrl or Command D to duplicate it. And because you duplicated the effect you edited before, you also duplicated your keyframes on that effect, as you can see here, which is nice. We do still have to edit the To and From option because now we're just basically dripping the same thing twice. So to do that, same as before, with your CC Smear 2 selected, your copy, select the From keyframe, from anchor point, and then choose a second point where you want to apply the dripping effect from, and then the same with the 2, and this time correctly from the beginning in the right sort of straight line below your from point, click the 2 point, and if we now play it, you can see things happening. Maybe we don't want them to happen at the same time, then you can select your keyframes and just drag them to where you think would be okay. And I think they can go a bit further, even something like this. Now, as you can see here, we have a sort of gap in our drip, and we can try to fix that by moving our 2 point. As you can see now, it doesn't have that gap anymore. And also just play it a couple of times to check if your radius, your reach is okay, because you only want to affect this part of the R and this part of the O. If your reach, your radius is too big, you will start distorting other points of your letter, which I can show you. I'm just going to duplicate my smear 2. So Ctrl-Command-D with smear 2 selected, and then the smear 3 appears with the same keyframes. I'm going to drag them a bit forward, and then with CC smear 3 selected, I'm going to adjust my from point, maybe here, and the 2 point there. As you can see now, I have the part that is affected, the distorted, is okay. But if I would increase my radius on my smear 3, as you can see now, it starts distorting other parts of your letter. And it might be that you want that to happen, but in case you do not want that to happen and you see that certain parts of whatever you're distorting are also distorting, which you do not want, you can increase or decrease your radius. And as you can see now, it's only distorting the point which I selected first. So let's check the entire thing again. And that looks good. So that's how you can use the built-in CC smear effect in Adobe After Effects to create a dripping effect on text, on vector images, on images. And then you manipulate the from and to point to choose where you're dripping from and to, and you increase the reach or decrease the reach to have the drop happening like you want it to happen. You ease your keyframes, you do the editing in the graph editor, and then you also check the radius to see if everything is distorting and nothing is distorting too much. It's a quick tutorial on how you can create a dripping effect in Adobe After Effects. Let me know in the comments below if you liked this video. Be sure to press the like button if you did. Press the subscribe button if you want to see more of my videos. There are new videos going live every week. And for now, thank you for watching my video. Stay creative, and I hope to see you in the next one.